Okay, we are here today to dedicate Chicago Road from Lincoln Avenue to 154th Street in the honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we're going to try to get this done before the rain comes back. Several months ago, I was reading an article and it said that 83% of the urban communities had a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue or street in their town. I thought it would be a good idea to present this to the board to get this approved and done. As you may know, the board did not approve it the first time. Second time up, it was approved. So that's why we're here today. And I just want to read a little bit about Dr. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr. was born January 15, 1929, and he was assassinated April 4th, 1968. He was an American Baptist minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in civil rights movement history from 1955 until his assassination in 1968. He was born in Atlanta. King is best known for advancing civil rights through nonviolence and civil disobedience tactics. His Christian beliefs and the nonviolent activism of Gandhi helped inspire him. King led the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott and in 1957 became the first president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, best known as SCLC. With the SCLC, he led an unsuccessful 1962 struggle against segregation in Albany, Georgia, and helped organize the nonviolent 1963 protests in Birmingham, Alabama. He also helped organize the 1963 March on Washington, where he delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. On October 14, 1964, King won the Nobel Peace Prize for combating racial inequality through nonviolent resistance. In 1965, he helped organize the Selma to Montgomery marches. The following year, he and along with SCLC took the movement north to Chicago to work on the segregated housing. In his final years, he expanded his focus to include opposition towards poverty and the Vietnam War. He alienated many of his liberal allies with a 1967 speech titled "Beyond Vietnam." J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI director, considered him a radical and made him an object of the FBI list from 1963 on. FBI agents investigated him for possible communist ties, recorded his extramarital liaisons, and reported on them to government officials. And on one occasion mailed King a threatening anonymous letter which he interpreted as an attempt to make him commit suicide. In 1968, King was planning a national occupation of Washington, D.C. to be called the Poor People's Campaign. When he was assassinated on April 4th in Memphis, Tennessee, his death was followed by riots in many U.S. cities. Allegations that James Earl Ray, the man convicted of killing King, had been framed or acted in concert with the government agents persisted for decades after the shooting. Sentenced to 99 years in prison for King's murder, effectively a life sentence, as Ray was 41 at the time of his conviction. Ray served 29 years of his sentence and died of hepatitis in 1998 while he was in prison. King was later awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom and Congressional Gold Medal. Martin Luther King Jr. Day was established as a holiday in numerous cities and states beginning in 1971. The holiday was enacted at the federal level by legislation signed by President Ronald Reagan in 1986. Hundreds of streets in the U.S. have been renamed in his honor, and a county in Washington State was also rededicated for him. The Martin Luther King Memorial on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. was dedicated in 2011. So today, we are officially renaming Chicago Road, like I said, from Lincoln Avenue to 154th Street as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Chiefs? Thank you all for coming this afternoon. That concludes our presentation. We have refreshments inside.